Okay, hey guys, can I have a voice check? Just work. Perfect, thanks. So my room's upside down at the moment. I had some cameras installed, so it's all over the place. So if you see anything, any wires or anything hanging, it's not, my house is not falling apart. Just I installed some IP cameras. So if we have time, I'll show you what it looks like. I'll give you a quick tour of how the cameras are set up there. It's really cool. Better than those closed circuit cameras that I replaced them with. Horrible. All right, now this is what I'm going to do, Isaac, to show you that I'm genuine. I'm going to ask ChatGPT to create one simple lab, subnetting lab. Create one simple subnetting lab where I can find a subnet ID and a broadcast IP address. Okay, so this is not as easy as I was going to do it, but that's okay. That's cool. All right, so let's let me write down. So when it comes to subnet IDs and doing your subnetting, it's always important to write down what you know. Always write what the facts are. Okay. And pen and paper is your best friend. If you know when you can use pen and paper, it's definitely your best friend. So 192.168.1.50, and the subnet mask is 255.255.255.192, and it's giving us a bit of a hint there. That is that's a CIDR notation, or it's how many bits that are switched on in a row. I'll explain. Welcome, Van. We're just going through just one subnetting quiz, one subnetting practice for about 7 minutes, and that was 26. So that's a /26. So what that means, Isaac, and anyone else for revision, is that's 26 ones in a row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. First octet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Second octet. So that, what is that? That's 6. Sorry, that's 8, 16. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's 8 bits there that are on. There's 8 bits that are on. On means 1, the number 1, because bits are either zeros or ones. If they're off, then they're 0. If they're on, they're ones. So I've got 8, 16. 16 plus 8 is 24. So far, I've got 24 bits that are on. How many bits should we have on? 26. Correct, that's right, Isaac. Yep. So another 2 there, which means that there's zeros for the rest of this octet. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we're 8 bits there. Okay. So now that there, right there, is our subnet mask. Okay. So what that means, so what we do is, like, we know that they're all 255, all of them, because you do 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, 128. If you add them all together, okay, they're all going to add to 255. That's our bit conversions there. And then 255, 255, and then another 255, 255. But what about these? What about this guy here? Well, let's do this. We'll do this nice and neat. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we do 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, 128. Yep. So that means that just make that there nice and tidy. Okay, so that means that that's 128 and that's 64. 128 plus 64 is 192. Okay, so therefore, yeah, perfect. So we've got that. So that's how we got the 26 bits, and that's how we got the subnet mask. Okay, that's how we got that. Okay, perfect. So the reason why this is important, because we always have, once we get that subnet mask, we could, we need to work out that 26 there. So we've got the 26, which we knew already, but let's work out what we're counting by, what's the magic number, so that we can find out what subnet this is in. So this here, this is the last one. This is the last of the ones. Okay, the last of those, all of those ones, all of the on bits, that's the number that we count by from now on. That's the magic number. So what's the magic number? It's here, because that is the last on bit equals magic number. So we now count by 64s. That we count by 64s. All right. Now that we know that, let me just copy this guy over here. I'm going to copy that. We'll move it down a bit. Now we know to count by 64s. This is what I do. This is how I do to do this. 192.168.1. You could do that, Isaac. Yeah, that's another way of doing it. Yep. That's by the way, Isaac, that's actually a quicker way to do that. That's the quicker way. If you can do that, you don't need to do the other bits, the other parts that we just done now. So if you can do that and you understood this concept, you don't need to do what I've just done. Okay. So this is the first range, the first block. Okay, and the second block is 64. All right, so you want to know what the subnet ID is. The first IP address in the block is the subnet ID. And lo and behold, that's the first one. Okay, that is your subnet ID. What is the last subnet ID? What's the last subnet ID is your broadcast. And instead of going 1, 2, 3, 4, you know what? Why don't we just do the last one before the next block, which is second blocks? Is this bingo, Emily? There we go. So the subnet ID ends up being 192.168.1.0. That's the sub ID. And the broadcast is 63, which is the broadcast ID. Okay. So I've created the videos. Let me just post that for anyone else who's just popped in. I know that everyone's done this, but just in case you're running a bit late or something's happened, I did create the videos for you all. Now I'm going to have to. The sub ID, always the magic number, -1 That's broadcast, you mean? The broadcast. So the broadcast, yeah, you got it. I think you got it. I knew what you meant. So the broadcast ID is always, that's a good point actually. Always, well, not actually, no, not always, because if I go to, okay, if I go to the next 64, let me just move this out of the way. I see what you're trying to say here. You're trying to find patterns here, which is good. Finding packets is good. Just move that away. Because remember we counted 64s. So 64 plus 64 equals 128, which means the third range is 128. That's the third range there. How would you get that pattern, Isaac? What pattern would be meaningful to you? So like what 64, 60, so you'd say coming, because like that's kind of like 127. That would be the broadcast for that one. But if you don't mind counting in 63s, you could say 64 plus 63. So you could do just add. You could add 63. You know what? I was like, I don't mind your way of thinking actually, because basically what you're saying is the subnet ID, whatever that is, so just say X, plus the magic number, minus 1. Does that make sense? I don't know. I don't know if that makes sense. So the subnet ID plus what? Okay, wait a sec. No, that doesn't make sense at all. You know what? I tell you what. How did they let me? How did they let me out of high school? I don't know. How did they let me out of high school? All right. So let's try that again. Hey, Stephen, welcome. Welcome everyone who's just popped in. We'll be. So subnet ID is magic number. No. Oh, okay. All right. I've got it now. I have it. I got it. Broadcast ID is magic number, take away subnet ID. Okay? Yeah. I think that's a good formula there. All right, who do we have in here? Okay. All right, so we've got a lot to go through, so I'm not going to wait for anyone to come in. But we've got a pop. Boy, do we have a big day. I can't wait for this. This is fun. I love this one. I really love this section that we're going through, because guess what? It has my favorite of all time, DNS. Look, sometimes I'm a bit sarcastic, and I'm a bit. The word's facetious, right? It just means smart aleck or smart. I hate DNS. I really hate it, but that's okay. You don't have to hate it. The reason I hate DNS is because you can get it wrong really easy. You can really get it wrong. And if you, I know Sam, you're telling me, man, but if you get it wrong, it just causes so much chaos. But if you get it right, if you get DNS right, you never, ever have to worry about it again. It works forever and ever until you need to change it. So it's good in that if you get it right, it just works. It's so robust. No worries, Stephen, you got to do what you got to do, man. So again, so DNS, it's nasty to configure, and there's just so much of it. It's not simple. It's not just sort of like I've got a whole book on it, right? and I've read it like 30 times. I still don't understand it. It's like annoying. Trying to find, yeah. So I've got a whole book on it, managing mission critical domains and DNS. But it's like it still frustrates me. But that's okay. That's just me. That's my brain. Your brain might be wired differently, and you might do things a bit better. So don't worry about me. Okay, I'm just having a bit of a whinge. Now I'm going to have a whinge because I've just lost my screen. I've completely lost my virtual machine. Where did I put it? Ah, stopping. Oh, that's weird. That's really weird. Yeah, it shut down, didn't it? Why did it shut down? Did I do something to shut it down? Itself, yeah, it shut itself down, didn't it? That's weird. All right. Well, let's do a quick tutorial on DNS so we don't waste any time. All right. I'm going to tell you, maybe while it's reloading, I'm going to tell you how DNS should work. Okay. Now, I don't know how old any of you are. If any of you are an old dinosaur like I am, back in the days, right, when we used to, we used to use Morse code to communicate with each other. Tap 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 tap. And communicate over wire. Back those days, we used to have these really, really weird things called yellow pages. Yeah, any of you remember those? Maybe as kids you might have sat on one. You remember, Fan? Yeah, you remember? Maybe you were at the hairdressers or the barbers. I used to take one with me to the footy because back in those days we used to sit out on wood. I used to have to. Oh, I know, weird. So I brought 2 yellow pages. I used to stand on them or sit on them at the football because I was only a little kid. I couldn't see because in those days we had to stand up. We didn't have these fancy seats, these heated seats with television screens at the footy or the cricket. We had to stand up. It was pouring rain. Oh, I miss those days. But anyway, yellow pages, okay? And what they were like 4,000 pages in 2 big volumes, A to something and then something to Z. Hey, Kath, how you going? So these yellow pages, if I knew what I knew now, yellow pages was the biggest hacking device known to man. Think about it. What do I have to do now to get your name, telephone number, and address? By the way, yellow pages was for businesses, and white pages were for people. Now, go back and watch Terminator. What does Arnold Schwarzenegger do when he goes back in time? What's the first thing he does? Hey, Kathy, how you going? The Terminator goes back and he gets the white pages. He goes to a public telephone booth, and he searches for what's her name? Sarah Connor, right? That was the best hacking device of all time. And if you didn't want your name to be there, you had to call white pages or yellow pages and tell them to not list your name anymore, but your name would be there for another year. So you couldn't do anything about it. So why am I saying this to you? Because I want to torture you. That's why. No, just joking. Because DNS, so basically when you go to yellow pages, what you do is you find, say, Sarah Connor. So you look under the C. So it's the first volume, and you look under the C's, and you look on you go to the C section, and then you go to the O section, and then you keep going down until you get Connor. There might be an M Connor. You go down until you get to S Connor. Okay. And when you do that, right next to it, there will be an address and a telephone number. And that's how my lovely friend Arnold Schwarzenegger found Sarah Connor by doing that. Yeah, me and Arnie go, but way back we go. We go way back. We're best friends. So that's how the telephone book works. DNS, funny enough, actually works very, very, very similar to that. Really, really close. So what we have to do is we have to. By the way, I'm just going to go see if the lab is has loaded yet. Yeah, I'm going to run it again. Sorry about this. We're going to go over time again. Okay. So that's doing its thing there. All right, cool. I'm just going to move that to the side. Hopefully it doesn't shut down again. But I just want to finish this mini lecture on what do you call it? On DNS. They still exist, do they, Em? They still exist? Wow. Yellow pages and white pages. Okay. I've been to some Middle East countries and some Southeast countries where the most effective way of finding someone is just asking an auntie or an uncle. They'll tell you exactly where to find a person. I'm not joking. I am serious. Say, uncle, I need to find so and so, and they say, well, you go down that street, you go to that shop. Oh, interesting. And that's it. Very interesting. I didn't know. They must be very small though. But this is how DNS works. So back in the old days, what would used to happen is there would be like 10. I'm talking about the early 80s. There'd be like 10 IP addresses, and I wasn't there. I wasn't around then. At that age, I was playing Commodore 64 or Nintendo. But what would happen is there'd be a list of the 10 or 20 most popular IP addresses, and people just type those IP addresses. But as the internet grew and grew and grew and grew, there were like thousands and thousands and thousands of websites, and it's just not feasible. It's not as humans, we can't remember all the IP addresses of what we're looking for. It's just not how humans are built. Computers absolutely are built for this. That's why we created AI to do tasks that are it's not part of our talent. Humans are brilliant, right? We are amazing creatures, but we don't do repetition well. We're not good at repetition, but computers are. And we're not really good at memorizing numbers as well. The average person can memorize 8 numbers. That's why the telephone number is 8 numbers. Just if you wanted to know why, 7 or 8. And even then, I can't remember that length of number myself. But so that was fine. But then we needed to do something else. And then some real intelligent person from Finland, Bernard something, created when he invented, helped invent the internet, said, well, okay, why don't we do this? Why don't we do www.harry.com for a domain? And that's like anyone can remember that. I can remember that. You can, everyone can. We do that all the time, right? But we need to convert that to what a PC can understand. Okay, and PCs understand IP addresses. They understand zeros and ones until quantum computing comes around. So at the moment, the CPU right now can understand zeros and ones, on, off. Quantum computing will be able to understand more than that. I'm still learning it myself. I'm still trying to understand it. So I'm not a reliable source of information on quantum computing. And I'm probably too old for that now, but maybe you guys can do something like that in the future and teach me later on. But at the moment, computers understand zeros and ones, right? So we need to convert that human letters and numbers into zeros and ones. So what we do is this. The computer does this, right? And I'm going to try and do this a bit quickly because I want to do some labs too. So this is a PC. If I go too fast, really, really sorry about this. I'll figure something out to try and help you understand this. Maybe I'll get you a YouTube from Professor Messer or Network Chuck or something like that. But anyway, we've got PC. And the PC says, I want to go to www.harry.com. So what we do is, PC will go to your local router. Okay? This is your wireless router. Because in this PC, I've got an IP address, I have a subnet, and I have a gateway address. And what else do I have, everyone? What's the last piece of the puzzle here? Anyone want to have a guess? What else do I have? Bingo, anchor. 10 points to anchor. So, that's okay. And I'm going to show you in a second how you find that. So we've got a DNS server. That's saying to us, let's point, if you want to find harry.com, sorry, just 1 second. I'm sorry. I've got to just answer this phone call really, really quickly. Okay, sincere apologies. I'm really sorry. This time of the night is hectic and chaos. But anyway, my sincerest apologies. So we've got the DNS, right? And the DNS is the IP address of our gateway router, right? So this is our wireless router. That is our interface that we're pointing our DNS server to, our router. And that's going to the internet, to your ISP, right? Okay, so what we're doing most of the time, and by the way, I actually don't, my DNS server, my personal DNS server, I actually don't use my router for that. I point it somewhere else. If you want to know, I point it to 1.1. That's my DNS server, which is Cloudflare's DNS server. But anyway, that's I don't want to confuse you. So now, it says this computer knows. All right, for this to get here, I need to ask my local router. Okay. Now my local router is going to say, I don't know. Why asking me? Ah, okay, you've configured there. All right, fair enough. So the router actually goes out and tries to find it for you. Your DNS server on your router actually goes out and tries to find it. So what it does is it goes out and goes to some server, and I'm missing a lot here, by the way, just because I want to do this quickly. It goes out to a server on the internet, and that server is a top level, and it's just a dot. And because I've got a COM, it says it transfers that request to another server, which is looking after the COM domains. It keeps a list of all the COMs, and then you have AU and you have whatever. So what happens is, really doing this quickly, it sends it back and it says, yes, here is the IP address. I'm just making, this is whatever, I'm just making this IP address up. That's the IP address for harry.com. Okay. And sorry, that should be going back there. And that sends it back to that router there. That router will now keep a copy of it there. It'll keep it there. What was it, 2.1, whatever, it doesn't matter. It keeps a copy, it keeps a record, and then it sends it to the PC, and the PC also sends a record of that DNS request, so it doesn't have to ask again. Okay, that is DNS in a really, explained it in a really horrible, and it's a terrible way to explain this. We need to spend like more time on this, but that's fine. I'll give you some links to Professor Messer or Network Chuck, or someone else who's really good is, his name escapes me, but I'll come up with a list, because DNS is something you need to spend some time understanding. Okay, let's go and do our lab now. We'll do some of our labs, and then because I want to spend some time on a couple of you who have some questions. So if we go to the lab, I'm just going to quickly do something. 1 second. And then once I want to spend some time talking about the survey results with you all as well, very quickly, because it's really important to us. It's important to me too. Your feedback is really, really important to me. I take real keen interest on it because I want to make sure that you're getting what you need. But we'll talk about that. We'll finish this. We'll finish the important stuff first, and then we'll talk about the even more important stuff. Okay, now what are we doing? So we're doing the DNS server. So what we need to do is we need to understand the purpose of DNS, which we've gone through now. We need to install DNS, really easy to do. To install DNS, piece of cake. Configure zones, records, and zone transfers, absolutely horrible to do. This is really, really difficult sometimes. But if everything works well, it's actually quite. When it works well, it's easy. When it doesn't work well, it is an absolute nightmare. So let's hope that it doesn't work. Let's hope it's a nightmare, because that's how you learn, right? All right. So we're going to run DC1 first, and we'll get the server 1 up and running, and we'll get server 3 running, and we'll get PC 203. Okay, beautiful, excellent. I don't think there's going to be any way that we're going to be able to finish all the parts here. And I believe, and I have a feeling that this is going to be something that I'll need to create some videos on for you all. I think this is something. I think this is something that I should really do. Actually, I don't mind. I like it. I like doing that. When I say should do, something that I would like to do. Now, so what we're doing first is we're going to go into. We need to change server 3, switch to the Hawthorne network if it's not done already. Go to settings. It's in one turner at the moment. So let me just get my, what are you doing, Copilot? I'm just going to get my Zoom It tool working so I can zoom in. I'm sorry I have to rush all the time. I prefer to take my time and you know. So we're going to jump over here. Click onto Hawthorne. Okay, so apply. My philosophy on life is always click on apply, then okay. You can't go wrong. You can accidentally click OK, but not apply something. Sometimes, I don't know why, sometimes it just doesn't work. All right, so click OK, and we'll do the same for 203, this one here. So right click, we're going to settings, and we're going to change that to the Hawthorne network. Okay, apply, and then OK. So let's go into server 3, connect to it, and we need to change some of the IP addresses, unless it's been done already for us. How's everyone going so far? Have I lost anyone? still here? Awesome. Thanks, Krishna. Thanks for that. Thanks for letting me know. So we'll change the you're still there? Good. That's good to hear, Anka. By the way, my speaker is coming. Oh no, actually my speaker's working. My speaker's good. So I'm just going to change the IP addresses to make sure that it reflects the lab. Properties, and there we go. Now, is that the same as what we should be having? Let's have a look. 32, so this is what we're changing it to. And look, there's our preferred DNS server. That's the magic. That's where all the magic is done today. Yeah, it looks no, it's different. So that should be, yeah, that's completely different. So it's 172.16.32.13, and the gateway (172.116.32.1), and the preferred DNS. And you'll notice that the DNS server is different than the gateway. A lot of the times, like on your home networks, it's going to be the same. Sorry, it'll be the same, but in the corporate world. No, I was right. It was that. Oops. 16, 32, and 1. Just double checking because I don't want to get this wrong. 16, 32, 1, 17, 16, 32, 10. See, I knew I'd get that wrong. It's good to double check. All right, great. So, okay. Now, as you know, I like to configure then verify. So let's go to the command line and do an IP config /all. And I can confirm that that's correct. 32.1, 32.10. Okay, great. So we're good here. I can minimize that. So that's our server. Let's jump over to our Windows PC 203. And we'll do the same. Did you notice how I did it slightly different, by the way? Because this is through server instead of Windows 10. It's weird. Hang on, didn't I just do this? No, I didn't. No. All right, now, so this is Windows 203, and we're going to do this. We're going to change it. So we're on a different network now. 172.16.32. 203. And subnet mask is the same. 72.16.32.20. Oops. Whoopsie. 1. Okay. This is interesting. It's not asking us to do a DNS server. It's just telling us to do a default gateway. So this means we're not going to do DNS here yet. So I'll do OK, and we'll do a command configure verify IP config. And okay, so it looks good. And you know what? Because I don't trust. I trust, but I'll verify and confirm. I'm going to just ping the server, the one that we just configured before. Yeah, good. All right, cool. That I'm happy. I'm very happy. And just because I'm going to ping the DNS server. All right, DNS server, we can reach it. Okay, I know that I've got reachability. There's network reachability. So that's that. If there's any errors or problems, this is not going to be it. We can connect with each other. There's communication happening. So that's that ruled out. That if it's a problem, it's because of I haven't done something right on DNS. Now to install DNS server, it's really, really easy. Okay. Go over to server 1. And we go over to server manager, manage add roles features, install DNS server, all default settings. Super easy, really. There's nothing to this. It's the configuration that's the problem. That's the challenging part. It's really hot here in Melbourne. Anyone who's in Melbourne, it's very hot today. All right, no problems. I'll have this video recording done for you. Okay, cool. I'll have the video recording for you tomorrow. I'll see what else I can do. So yeah, take it easy, put your feet up, and then. You think so, Zach? Zachary, you think it's going to be hotter? All right. Okay, so let's go to manage, add roles and features. Yeah. You never know. Melbourne's weird. It could go anywhere. We're going to do the defaults, and then we're going to DNS server. Now, by the way, when you set up Active Directory, DNS server has to be installed at the same time. All right, let me rephrase that. The first time, and by the way, this is just defaults here. The first time you set up Active Directory, you have to have DNS server. Active Directory does not work without DNS. Why? Because Active Directory is a database of objects and names. Notice I just said names. Active Directory needs the DNS server because these objects are linked to names, not just IP addresses. It's all about the names. So it's that'll take however long that takes. Shouldn't be too long. Usually it's much quicker than this because I'm used to working on production environments. Oh, by the way, while that's going there's something I read today, really quick, regarding Windows 2012, I think. I think there was a zero-day attack. I think that's just today, I think, or a couple of days ago. Yeah, because of that, and that's the problem, Stephen, because there's no support for it, so you can't patch it. Let me see if I got some news for you. All right, so that we'll close that. So yeah, 2nd December, Windows. Here you go. This is interesting. Just a sidetrack. This is why we don't use Windows 12. Okay, this is the reason. If you ever see Windows 12 in a network, tell your boss don't. Yeah, well, Stephen, I mean, you have to do it, right? Or you isolate it somewhere and you put huge firewalls in front of it, like you absolutely lock it down. You have a plan for it. But I mean, this is why we don't use Windows 12 now. Yeah, well, Stephen, there you go. And I think the hackers were waiting for this day. So have a look at that website and then see the reason why we shouldn't use Windows 12 anymore. All right, so now let's go over to tools and we shall jump into, I'm confused now. I wonder why it says log into DC. Anyway, I've logged in. It's asking us to log into DC as well. That's a weird lab. So I should have done this first, but not that it matters. All right, so we've logged into DC, that's fine. Go back into server 3. Perfect. So let's jump into server manager. So we'll go to tools, DNS. Might have to refresh this. Oh, you know what I've done? Yeah, I'm so silly. Sorry, I need to go back to server 1. There it is. DNS is in server 1. All right, nice. So it'll come up now. I thought I was going crazy for a second, but so this is the setup, okay? This is what our DNS server configuration looks like. Remember how I talked to you, I gave an example about going over the internet and finding DNS? In our example here, so in that example I showed you, that's if you're looking for a website, but here we're not looking for a website, we're actually looking for servers on our network, yeah, and other resources like computers and printers. We don't need to go to the internet, we can come straight to this DNS server. That becomes the authority, that becomes the top level DNS server in this scenario, okay? We're controlling that, whereas in the internet we don't really control that. You've got the forward lookup names, the conditional forwarders, blah, blah, blah. We'll look at these as we go along. All right, so the first exercise is we're going to create a primary forward lookup zone. Simply means, okay, this is important. A forward lookup zone is this. This address, yeah, will go to this IP address. This is what we're doing here. So we'll configure that. Right click, new zone. And we'll just click on next. I know the screen's a bit small here, but we need to create a primary zone because we haven't set one up before. And this zone, we're going to call it is born.edu. Like, you know, Swinburne, burn. Click on next. This just defaults on everything. Okay. All right, fine. That's all we need to do for now. Okay. Part 3 is, yeah, there'll be some information on it, Fan. It's worth learning, right? Okay. There will be some questions on the test and the exam, I'm afraid to say. So you'll practice it. Definitely practice this. So now for this task, we will need to create a file server. Okay. So let's go back over to server 3. And this is a very useful lab, by the way. If you can learn this lab and do well in practice, there's a lot of stuff in here that is valuable for you when you go out to production environments. When you're doing your job in real life, there's some interesting stuff, important things to learn here. So we'll go over to, so we're going to create a file server. And this is how we create file servers as well, a lot of the times. Yep. So we'll go to the C drive, we'll right click and new. Again, I'm sorry for going too fast, but we've got to move. And we'll call it data, or data, as I like to call it. I call it data, not data. And I'm going to create a file here called secret, top secret. And I'm just going to put some stuff in here, right? Typical shared folder name, that's right. Yeah. All right, so that's saved. Just double checking. Yep, beautiful. It's always good to put something in there. Now we're going to share this folder. Right click. Pay attention, this is important. This stuff is really critical, really important. I teach this stuff at wherever I work. All the classes I have, I teach them sharing. It's because that's what we do. The purpose in most corporations is to share files. We're sharing stuff. This is where it's done. Well, these days it's done on the cloud a lot of the times now, but this is where it's done in your on-prem. So I'm going to go to the sharing tab, go to advanced sharing. I'm going to share this folder, and I'm going to select a 10 users at the same time, I think, yeah. and permissions. I'm going to make everyone have read permissions, and I'm going to give it to everyone. Okay, 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 and close. Okay, so everyone gets permissions to this, to read, at least to be able to read it. Now, so in the web server, we need to, oh wow, we're going to set up a web server too. Ooh, how are we going to find time for this? All right, we'll try our best. So in server 3, we'll go back into tools. Manage, and we're going to add a web server. By the way, Windows Web Server IIS used to be big in the 2000s, but pretty much it's Linux does web servers now. Linux is the web server of choice. Pretty much 99% is web servers is Linux. Okay, but here it is. Web server is down here. You know that Linux is the most popular operating system in the history of mankind, right? So that's why you should learn it. It's on everything. It's on the webcams. So just further AP cameras. Sorry, IP cameras. Just next to everything here. Now, I'm going to click on install. This can take some time, okay? While it's taking some time, we can do other stuff, right? So we can click. So let's get a notepad file. Now, how is your how's everyone's HTML skills or JavaScript? This is how in the old days. This is how we used to create websites. Yeah, is it good? Rusty? Okay. But in the old days, this is how we used to create our web pages. And then we had something called, I think it was called Dreamweaver or something. Dreamweaver. Adobe Dream. I don't know if it's still around. Yeah, head and yeah. I still remember some of it. Heading 1. You can do colors and change the fonts and all that stuff here. But nowadays, there's no point. You can use WordPress and stuff like that to create web pages. But this is how we used to create web pages in the old days. Why am I typing this? Seriously, why am I typing this? Just copy and paste. I don't know. All right, so, and then we're going to save it as how's that going with the? Oh, that looks good. That's created it. That's good. So we'll put that in. Yeah, the www root folder. So this is our default. So when we type the IP address or the name, so the server of this in a web browser, it will, whatever's in here, if it's got index behind it, that's what will run in our web server. So if you do index.htm, that will run when we type the IP address or the name of this server into a browser. It will run whatever in there. So where did I put it? Oh, what is wrong with me? Copy. I should put it in here. So right click, new. Note. You use Notepad. Don't use Word or anything else because there's this formatting in there. Whereas Notepad is pure. There's no word formatting. There's nothing there. It's just pure text. Save as. Just going to copy that root folder. And we'll call it index.htm. And then bingo. Now, I've configured, now I'm gonna verify. I'll show you how to verify this. Now that we've configured, we've got the web server set up. It might work now. If I type index.html, you know what really bugs me about Edge is, or I'll double check that, Stephen. Really annoys me about Edge is it won't let you, it forces you to come in here, and I think you might be right. Yeah. HTML or HTML, it's fine. I thought I put it in there. I thought I did that. That's okay. Must have missed it. Well, there it is. HTML. I think so anyway. But let's try we'll try this 127.0.1. Okay. I'm getting something there. Oh, really? Okay. All right. Well, we're getting something here. Yeah. So that's that. It doesn't look that great, crash hot though. I think it's that anyway. So we've got the web server working perfect. All right, now let's create a record for this. Okay. So that if you look at this, so what we're trying to do is that someone from another computer can type this address, link that. So when they type this address, the DNS server resolves it to this IP address, which will come here. Okay, this is the purpose of DNS. This is what we're doing. This is why we have DNS. Let's go and do this while we have time. So we'll go to server 1, where our DNS record is. So our DNS server, sorry, I meant to say. We're there already, which is good. I'm just going to move this to the side so I can look at it. And in the forward lookup zones, we're going to create a record by right-clicking here. Do not restart on me. Don't do it. This encountered critical iOS errors. Paused critical. All right, that's lovely. All right. All right, let's restart this. We'll go to we'll turn it off and start again. Hopefully the settings. Hopefully it will save what we've done. If not, well, I'll have to end this. I'll have to end this lab, and I'll do it again for you. Okay. Computer's running low on storage. Check this out. Yeah, you're right, Van. That's a problem. That's really bad. Actually, we need more storage. I can't much we can do about it. Maybe that just creating that little file did all that damage. No, I mean, it's just there's just not much storage on not much storage. Yeah, we might do that. Where is the temp folder? All right, we'll try that. Oh, there's not much there. I mean, come on. Well, we'll delete it anyway. There's plenty of space there. What are you talking about? There's 34 gigs free. I don't know. That's weird. I don't know. Never mind. So oh, the host. You mean this one here? Oh, the host. Okay. Yeah, fair enough. All right, let's do it. Yeah, there's only 2 files in there. Anyway, I'm just going to test my luck here. Push my luck. Good. Okay, very good. All right. We're going to do a new host, and we're going to do www dot. Leave it as that. There's born.edu dot. Leave the dot at the end. It's important. And the IP address. Remember the translation. We're going to translate a fully qualified domain name, FQDN. It's not a swear word. Although DNS makes me want to swear sometimes. It's fully qualified domain name. This is what DNS is all about. Add host. The name is invalid. Multiple dots, yeah. I can't see it. Oh, okay. Yep, I got it. That one then. Okay. Let's try that again. Okay. 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 Thank you for that, team. Good pickup. All right, we will click add host. Fully created, beautiful. So, all right, now what we're going to do so that we can access our file server, we're going to create a CNAME, a new record called CNAME record. We're going to create an alias so that we can type in a name, file server, which will take us straight to our file server. So we're going to create a CNAME. We'll call it file server, and we will click on browse, click on server 1. Okay. Double click here, double click, and that's the host record. Okay. Click OK, click OK. Now we've created a DNS record for both of our network resources. All right. So now we're almost done. We've got it up and running. Let's go back to our host over here, 203. Now remember, we did not configure our DNS server at the time. Now we are. We're going to do that now. But before we do that, I think we have to flush our DNS record, don't we? Yeah. The way to flush your DNS record is this. Actually, I need to log on. I have to do this as administrator's privilege. Okay. ipconfig flush DNS. Nice. And then go back over here, change our DNS server. Sorry, DNS. Yeah. Right click, properties, because we left it blank before, and I forgot what that was. Let me go back into server 1, and what was it? Yeah, .11, 32.11. So now when I type in born.edu, it's going to take, it's going to ask that DNS server that we've just set up. And because we created that record, we'll be able to get our, we'll be able to go to the web page, and we'll be able to get access to our folder, unless I've mucked that one up. All right, let's go to Explorer. We'll test it out. All right, www.burn.edu. So now, wow, how about that? How about them apples? I actually can't believe this is working. I'm like, usually, I'm like, not going to work. So that's the web page, and that worked really well. Like, that was fast. If you had a packet tracer, sorry, Wireshark, if you had Wireshark, we could see this in action, but we don't. So let's go over to, we're going to go to our file server. Now, there's no way this is going to work. I mean, that's just a, come on, no, you're not going to work, eh? Actually, it might work. Administrator. Word, yep. Never do that. Ah, look at that. Data. Top secret. Ta-da. Perfect. So I actually can't believe this has worked so well. That's really good. So that's, yeah, hey, that's a pat on the back. If you guys can do it, then you rock. So all right, excellent. So that's all we'll do for today. I just want to check to make sure we've covered most of that stuff. Where are we? Lab 5 introduction. Yep. That's a lot, right? Fairness, heaps and heaps of stuff. But you know what? I think we covered everything. No, we have to do transfers, but you can do that on your own. All right. So now, really quickly before you go, yeah, definitely, Krishna, go over it again. Definitely go over it again. Before you go, I just want to quickly talk to you about the survey results, because it matters a lot to us. Really matters. Well, it matters to me in any case. It matters to Kathy. I know that for sure as well. So it's important to us. So I'm just going to get it up and running. I'll access it, and I won't show you because there's some private information there, but I'll just quickly run by this. And I'm going to create a report as well, and I'll send this report to you all to let you know how that goes, how that's what your feedback is, generally speaking. Oh, here we go. 2024. Okay, yeah. TP3. Yeah, here we go. Let me have a look. Detailed reports and comments. Okay, perfect. All right, I'm having a look at it now, and I'll just quickly explain to you. And again, I'm going to write something up for you as well, so that you can see how we're going. So generally speaking, we've got. I'm satisfied with this unit so far. We're getting a score of about 7.48, which is not a 9 or a 10. It means that generally speaking, you like the students, you're happy with everything, but there's room to improve. We need to get the course material. We need to do a little bit better to get you happy. The question is, I'm aware of the support Swinburne offers to help me succeed in this unit. There's an 8 there, so it's a bit better, but still not a 10. We need to push that up to 10. That's what we have to work on, Kathy and I and the Swinburne team. Not you guys. You don't have to work on this. This is us. This is up to us. I'm confident that I can successfully manage the academic requirements of this unit. It's coming down a bit to about 7.4, 7.59. So that, which is, it's up there, but it's not a 10, which means that maybe we need to do more to communicate with you on how to perform better and to get better results in your assignments. So that's something I'm going to focus on. I'm going to work a bit harder on that, so that you can manage, so you understand what you need to do for your assignments and how to do well. So that's something I need to work on. A couple of comments. Pretty much everyone is really happy with the hands-on approach to this unit, which is really good. A lot of it looks like a lot of good comments about Kathy and I's performance. You're happy with how we're going as online learning advisors in New Corner. So I'm really touched and honoured by the feedback that you've provided to Kathy and I. Thank you very much for that. I really appreciate that. It means a lot to both of us. There's some really good comments there. A couple of people are kind of a bit, someone, maybe on how to fill out the lab journals. More video content, more material. Someone wants me to keep on teaching. That's good. That's a good feedback. I'll continue to teach. That's something I can do. Thank you. I'm on it. More lab sessions would be great. So you want more lab sessions? A couple more lab sessions. We'll see what we can do with that one. So more lab sessions. I would like to do more lab sessions, but it's a matter of time and resources. I think, okay, we'll see what we can do with that one. See what we can do. No promises for that one, but there we go. I'll write a detailed response to this and give it back to you, to your announcement. And then, yeah. But thank you very much for the wonderful feedback. Really appreciate it. We will work harder. We'll perform better as well. All right. Any questions before I let you go? Kathy, did you have anything? Yeah, go for it, Anko.
Good. I'm good. Good.
Hey, Harry, I think you need to clean up your host file. Sorry, temp folder, but you were still in the subfolder when you were in temp folder. So you're logged into folder number 2.
Oh, okay.
No, there's not much there. Cool.
That one?
Yeah, I don't know why. Yeah, it should be.
It won't let me.
No.
But it deleted everything else though. That's fine.
Is there anything in a C folder you might have to clean it up as well under user? Thanks.
No worries. No, thank you. I'm always open to. Sorry, Kathy, did you have anything?
I'm good, Harry. Thanks. I sent you a message in the Slack.
Thank you. No problems. Thank you. Give me 1 second. All right. Thank you, everyone. You have a great night. Sorry, Van, what was that? Did you have something, Van? Van, did you want to? Sorry, I think did I miss something? All right. Thank you, everyone. Have a great night. I'm going to stick around for about another 5-10 minutes if anyone needs anything from me. You have an amazing night, evening, and I'll see you soon. Thank you, Kathy. Thanks, everyone.
Bye, Harry.
Bye-bye. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm going to end the recording for those watching this as a recording. Thank you, and let me know if you have any questions. Have a good night.